Hello there, Keith King here from the ancientsymbolist.com website. Today I would like to reveal that Russell Crowe was right when he said he saw a UFO over Sydney. On the 6th of March 2013, Russell Crowe tweeted that he had seen a bright light over the botanical gardens that are in the centre of Sydney. He said he had seen these bright lights 4 years earlier. He then posted 3 images of these bright lights. Many news outlets around the world picked up on the story. Russell was with a friend in Woolloomooloo, sharing drinks on his deck when he saw the lights. What Russell and the rest of the world did not know is that there is an energy line that runs right through the heart of Sydney. And according to Cathie, a New Zealand air pilot who first discovered where these energy lines were placed, wherever these energy lines are located, that is like a highway for UFOs to travel along. Cathie had discovered the Earth has multiple energy lines passing through it. He also discovered that people reported seeing UFOs, but only along these energy lines. One day in New Zealand, on his routine flying trips, he saw a large flying machine that he could not identify. He notified the airport authorities which he worked for. They informed him that they would put it in their files and look into it. But Bruce was intrigued by what he saw. The next day in the local newspapers, people were writing in that they also saw this flying machine that no one could identify. As Bruce looked into the addresses of the people who wrote in, he noticed that they were all along a specific line, and that he could draw that line from viewing it from the air. He discovered that where he saw his UFO, it was also on this line. This started his research into where other UFO sightings were recorded in other local newspapers. Only now he was going worldwide in his search. He then started to put everything together, and certain patterns started to emerge. He put these patterns on a globe and tried to see if there was more than just coincidence involved. After many months of trying to get the lines or tracks to follow a certain framework, which in the end he determined they would not, Bruce decided to use a different time formula for his grid system. Instead of dividing the grid into 24 hours in a day, he used 27 hours in a day. This was the perfect solution to correctly position all of the Earth's energy grid lines. Bruce then called upon the expertise of Rod Morpin, an American software engineer, and together they produced Map the World Grid with GridPoint Atlas. Now anybody, with the aid of their software package and also using the Google Earth Map, could discover where the Earth's energy lines were located. I purchased one of their software packages and searched for any energy lines in Sydney, New South Wales. Unfortunately, their software was not compatible with my Apple Mac at the time, so I asked Rod Morpin if there was an energy line passing through Sydney. Rod sent me a Google Earth map showing the centre of Sydney, and there, running through Hyde Park and St Mary's Cathedral and on to the Royal Botanical Gardens, was an energy line. Russell Crowe's apartment was just off to the right of the Botanical Gardens, on Fisherman's Wharf, Russell would have had a clear view over the botanical gardens from this location. The 3 images of bright lights that he put up on Twitter show the trees from the botanical gardens. But what Russell Crowe did not know was that Bruce Cathie had discovered that UFOs also knew where these energy lines were located and used them to frequently travel vast distances at great speeds. If Russell had known about the energy lines, maybe the story on Twitter would have got more traction. What's this got to do with me, you may well ask? Well, after Rod Morpin sent me the Google Earth map with the energy line passing through Hyde Park, I realised that the Freemasons of New South Wales and also throughout the world knew about these energy lines and placed markers such as an obelisk to point the way to these energy lines. One of these obelisks is on the corner of Bathurst and Elizabeth Street. The obelisk was erected in 1857 by the Grand Master of the New South Wales Freemasons. He was also the Mayor of Sydney. This was George Thornton. The obelisk had a steel pyramid with 4 circles cut out of its sides. This was to allow the sun to shine through the centre on a certain day of the year, and also at a certain time, namely 5:55 p.m. The day chosen was the 21st of September, which is the spring equinox in Australia. The spring equinox is the day with equal portions of day as well as night. On this day, and at the allotted time of 5:55 p.m, the sun lined up with the top of the obelisk and continued on its journey along the path to a fountain where it came down to drink. The fountain is known by the City of Sydney Council as the Fountain of Life. Once the sun had drunk from the Fountain of Life, it continued on its journey to enter into the door of the original College of Liberal Arts and Studies. There the teachers of this school would set their timepieces for 5:55 p.m, knowing that this was the exact time each year. The college has now become Sydney Grammar School, and because Sydney has adopted daylight saving time, the sun now comes down to drink from the fountain at 4:55 p.m. I have filmed the event on many occasions, always with the same result. This fountain is placed directly on the Earth's energy grid, alongside St Mary's Cathedral. This is the church first built by Lachlan Macquarie, one of the first governors of New South Wales. Lachlan Macquarie was also a Freemason and had spent some time in Egypt, discovering the importance of the pyramids. Here is a window in St Mary's Cathedral showing Lachlan Macquarie laying the foundation stone for the church. Upon his hat is a clamshell, one of the symbols of a Mason. This same symbol, the clamshell, is shown in the hands of John the Baptist as he baptizes Jesus. John the Baptist is also one of the 2 patron saints associated with Freemasonry. The time 5:55 is also a number associated with the Freemasons. On their 3rd degree tracing board, the numbers 555 are clearly displayed. The Washington obelisk also just happens to be 555 feet and 5 inches in height. But the thing that proved to me that the Masons were well aware of these grid lines was when I read Bruce Cathie's book, The Bridge to Infinity. In it, Bruce determines that the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, where time officially starts, is 555.555 degrees of arc from the Vatican in Rome, where the main obelisk in St. Peter's Square is positioned. From their original website, Map the World Grid with Gridpoint Atlas, numerous ancient temples and structures find themselves located on the Earth's energy grid, such as the Statue of Liberty and Angkor Wat, and also the original Tower of Babylon and the American headquarters of the Freemasons, along with the Mormon Temple in Salt Lake City, built by the Freemason Brigham Young. After Bruce Cathie had started to tell the world where these energy lines were located and how UFOs seemed to appear suddenly along these energy lines via his books, he was visited by the CIA, who asked him how he had come to discover these energy lines. He replied by using mathematics and converting his findings into geodetic degrees. The CIA offered him a job on the condition he gave up disclosing his findings to the public. Bruce declined their offer. Bruce Cathie took his work seriously and began to worry about the consequences of disclosing his work. So he wrote to the New Zealand Prime Minister and told him his story. According to Bruce, the New Zealand Prime Minister wrote him a letter informing him as a New Zealand citizen he was under the authority of the New Zealand government, and that as long as he shared his findings with the New Zealand people, he would be safe. From then on, Bruce would give lectures and write more books on the subjects relating to the Earth's energy field. Bruce Cathie passed away in June 2013, but his work and his books live on. If you wish to know more about what the Freemasons know, visit my website ancientsymbolist.com. If Russell Crowe ever watches this video and wishes to play a real-life character, then he could do no better than to choose Bruce Cathie.